Well, we're getting back to a little bit of normalcy. We got the Masters coming up this weekend. We got a little spring ball action. Going to have fans in the stands, so we're excited to get moving back forward. I feel like the team's made a bunch of progress on the field, off the field. More importantly, how we're growing together as a family. The habits that we're installing and living by every day in our environment that we want to create. That's going to help us grow, continue to grow, and we want to start too by saying and giving a special shout out to the leadership on campus, to Jeremiah Dickey and really the local health officials as well for letting us have this spring game and bringing Bronco Nation back into the stadium. And this is a big deal. This is a huge deal, not only in the sense of football, but in the sense of bringing people back together, getting back to whatever the new normal is, and getting people back at sporting events. That's exciting. Not only again from the stance of football, but in terms of our community and us as a university and a community working together. So just wanted to hit on that real quick, and as well as the objectives that we started out to at the beginning of spring ball. The number one objective when we started spring ball was to grow our habits that are going to create the mentality that we want. And we feel very strongly about the direction we're moving there. We're not there yet by any means. Not by any means are we there yet. But everybody wants to talk about culture and drop that word. And there's a lot of things that build a culture. And we're working very hard and trying to focus our everyday priorities on the habits that are going to create that culture, and getting reps at doing those things and living by these habits off the field, in the classroom, and on the field. And so we are very excited about our players' care factor, our coaches' care factor, the staff's care factor, to create this environment through these habits. We've talked about dependable depth and creating depth. And I know we want to talk about the quarterback situation, and those guys are doing awesome. Hank, Jack, the whole crew's doing awesome. And it starts with this, okay? It doesn't start with how they execute on the field. It doesn't start with their completion percentage, touchdown to interception. It starts with their leadership. It starts with their leadership off the field, how they're bringing guys together, how they're building confidence within each other to work together when we get on the field together. And they're doing a really good job at that stuff. And we're excited to continue, to build those relationships, because when we get on the field, then it allows us to operate, it allows us to compete together. And that's really where it starts at the quarterback position, and how those guys are competing on the field, more importantly, how they're working together. And we're extremely proud of that whole group and how they're doing. They've, we're nearing the end of spring ball here, so naturally they both have had their days where they've played really well, and they've had their days where they can't wait to get back on the field and do better. That's spring ball. That's practice. That's learning a new offense. We've built some momentum on the offensive side of the ball at the end of the last scrimmage in Monday's practice. And so today is our last full padded practice before we move into the spring game. And so we're excited to see what this competition looks like today. Through special teams, offense, and defense. We got some short yardage situations coming up today. We're going to get some action down in the red zone as well, down into the goal line. So it's going to be a very competitive day that is set not only to improve our play on the field, but to improve our mindset and how we respond. Number one, how we create a mindset to get ready to handle this practice today. And number two, how will we respond out there on the field today? That's one of the most critical factors that we want to see. How's our team? How have we grown? How are we going to respond out there? We don't want to wait to see to the spring game on Saturday. We want to see today. So we're excited to get out there when we get done with this meeting here. And again, we're always going to be teaching situational football and creating those opportunities for not only the players, but for us to learn too. Whether it's down and distance, it's field situations, it's game clock situations. So, and we've talked about too, and you guys have asked about turnovers and taking care of the football. That's a high priority every single day we step on the field. The offense has done a great job of securing the ball as ball carriers. We have not had hardly any fumbles. The defense has done a good job at creating interceptions. And that starts really, not with the DBs, but that starts with the pre-snap and how we operate and how we create pressure on the quarterback. We've been able to create consistent pressure. And so we'll continue to emphasize these things as much as we will continue to emphasize our mindset and how we build that, how we create that every single day, and how we use that to respond. That being said, fire away. Who's up first?
So, Coach, first of all, can you just tell us about the format of the spring game?
So it's offense versus defense. Being where we're at right now, it would not be suitable to split it into two, the team into two. We wish we could. Hopefully next year we can do that. But it'll be offense versus defense. There will be a scoring system that will be somewhat similar. We'll release that in the upcoming days as to how we'll score points on offense and how we'll score points on defense. We'll play 8-minute quarters. And again, we'll release all this stuff as we move forward into the weekend. But it will be split up, and a little deal we'll give you. You guys have seen who the captains are to start off the game. That's exciting. Wish we can get those guys out there for a few more reps. But we'll have the defense warm up on one side of the field. We'll have the offense warm up on the other side, and we will go back to using the varsity center locker room as well and split the team up. And so it's a good opportunity for us to keep our social distancing within our protocols and also use our old locker room, a little tradition there.
And you mentioned those honorary captains. What does that mean to you, and is that a new tradition you're hoping to start here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we want our brothers to come back and be a part of this as much as possible. Obviously, we're working through all the protocols and things like that, but how exciting is that? There's going to be a few guys out here today. Our brotherhood is through the protocol. The people that do get the hall pass is our brotherhood, the former alumni, and they've been able to come to practice. It's inspiring for our current players and our current coaches. It is also very beneficial to always have a reminder of who we are, where we've come from, and what it's going to take.
Who are a couple guys maybe on offense and defense so far that have stood out to you during camp so far?
Yeah, no question. So Steph Cobbs has had a really, really good spring. He's done a tremendous job, and it doesn't matter which quarterback's in there. He's done a tremendous job. I'm really excited about what he's doing, Billy Bowens is doing within that wide receiver core. I know you guys want to know Shaq. Shaq's doing awesome. He's come back. You guys will see him out there today. He is in individuals and doing some 7-on-7 stuff and is looking good. We've got to obviously build his endurance before we get him going in any other things. But he's such a competitor that it's hard to keep him on the sideline. We got to keep an eye on him as well. Offensively, Kay Connie has done a really good job helping with the line of scrimmage and helping lead, as well as with the quarterbacks. That relationship between the center quarterback is huge, and we're working on continuing to build that. And so on defense, guys that have done really well, the D tackles, Scotty and Scale, they've done a tremendous job. It's about continuing to fine tune who they are, how they consistently operate on the field, how they lead on the field, how they build confidence into the guys around them, and to spark that type of play and execution and production out of others around them as well. And then the two safeties, JL and Ty Jones, they're difference makers.
Sorry. You mentioned kind of getting back to normalcy. I'm curious, are you going to encourage your guys to get the vaccine? Have you guys gotten, any of the coaching staff got the vaccine? How are you going to handle that as a program?
Yeah, it's the vaccine obviously has a lot more availability within our area here now, and so and it is open. We're for people that want to get it, and if someone doesn't want to get it, that is totally up to them. And so we are educating, providing. Our medical staff has done a good job of educating our players and our staff on the benefits, and if they don't choose to get it, also too, the potential benefits of not getting it. And so we are allowing people to make choices as they choose and however they see best fit. And yes, some of us have gotten the vaccine.
Andy, you have 100 alumni coming back for this, and I know you just touched on what they mean to your program, but who's organized this effort? How have all these guys made their way back to Boise in recent weeks? And are you encouraging your players to reach out to them, or are they talking to your team? How are they interacting beyond just their presence?
Well, I think our current team is always in contact, especially with the most recent alumni. And there are a ton of alumni that live here that never moved back to wherever it is that they came from. Texas, California, Arizona, Washington. This is Boise, Idaho. It's not a secret anymore. So a lot of people stay here, and providing the opportunity for guys to come back and not just to come watch practice, but interact, still have an impact on each other's lives. Those guys teach us things when they come back. They teach us, and we're there for them when they need us as well. And so, we can't have our social like we usually have. We will have that for sure next year, brothers. And but this year we're not. It's exciting to see the guys are still coming back, though, and we want to continue to build that.
Just on a day-to-day basis, now that you've been here for a few months, you clearly seem like you are back and fitting in. How much more productive are you able to be by the day, just by the fact that you've been here, you've returned to your alma mater for a little while, and probably know all the guys and all that stuff.
Yeah, no question, Jay. It was a whirlwind. Drinking out of a fire hose, most definitely, 2 of them. But that's to be expected. It was the same way as a coordinator. A little bit more on the plate now than being a coordinator. It's not as much about the X's and O's. We got people in place, great coaches, great men to be able to lead and implement those things. Obviously, we have great people around us. One standing right there, Brooke, that has helped us be able to get in rhythm and keep rhythm and keep our schedule on track every day, because you got a schedule every day, and it's usually full. And if it's not, we don't say anything about it not being full, because I'll jinx it, and somehow, some way, that thing's going to become real full. Things just pop up throughout the day. But that's the fun part about it, is the interaction that you don't know it's going to happen, whether it's good or we got to handle some situations. It's good, the interaction, the impact we get to make.
Okay. Andy, you mentioned Khalil. Is he practicing?
Yes.
Okay. And will he suit up on Saturday?
He is not going to participate in team.
Okay. On the turnover situation, there have been years in years past where the team's coming off a tough year with turnovers, and every spring there are special drills, and we've read about those this year. What makes this year's emphasis on turnovers different and gives you optimism that it'll be successful?
Well, I think it's number one, it's a team emphasis. It's not just a defensive emphasis. It's a team emphasis from the standpoint is we're not just talking about how many takeaways that the defense gets. How many are the special teams going to get? How many did the special teams get last year? How many of those are we going to turn into scores or create excellent field position for the offense? Vice versa. How well are we with our ball security, and how well are we at taking care of the ball on offense in spring ball? Because that makes it a lot more difficult. That's iron sharpens iron in terms of the defense really having to work, and not just when the play starts, but in the pre-snap, to create confusion on the offense. And so we have reward systems. We have things that at practice that obviously we don't talk about. We can't talk about in the media that we do at practice that creates excitement, creates energy, creates competition.
Andy, you keep talking about correcting habits. Can you maybe identify 1 or 2 of the priorities you did in terms of habits that you've changed, and kind of the process of how you went through that and changed that?
Yes, just in terms of the habits, great question. There's agreed upon set of performance skills that are habits that this whole building, players, staff, coaches, everybody agreed upon. And then there's relational habits that everybody's agreed upon that we feel like we need to emphasize every single day, that we need to get reps at in order to create the reality that we want, which becomes our culture. And so that's been a huge emphasis. Just like we install offense, defense, special teams, we've got to install these habits as well.
I can't ask you this in the fall, but I can in the spring. What's your offense going to look like Saturday? And more specifically, how will fans see a difference?
Well, there's a certain tempo that's a little different, There's a tempo that is certainly different. There's an opportunity to play at different speeds, to go and execute at a different speed that we consistently haven't in the past. There is not as much substituting in and out. We're going, and when we're in it, we're going. Regardless of what personnels, we have the ability to use multiple personnels within certain tempos and keeping guys on the field. I think we'll see an explosive offense with precision, and that's really what we're working on. Obviously, we want to keep growing the precision as it's a new offense, and that comes through reps. That comes through creating confidence and fundamentals and techniques to execute, and obviously the timing within We still have the motions, we still have the shifts that the defenses are going to have to prepare for, but it's at a faster pace. One more? We're done. One more? Come on, one more.
Yeah, Coach.
I'm sorry.
What type of parameters, if any, are you setting on the physicality that we're going to see on Saturday? Spring games probably aren't 100% full, but where do you want this to be in terms?
It's going to be live. The offense, defensive periods are going to be live. Special teams will not, but the physicality, that's what we breed, and how we do that is everything. We will not be out of control. We will not be reckless because we're playing physical. We're going to play physical under control with the right mindset and not compromise each other. And that has been our message here all along. Our physicality always has to be under control, and it's got to be relentless. And that starts with our mindset and how we control ourselves. You got anything before I got to roll? Yeah, he's having a heck of a spring. He's had some explosive plays. He's scored some touchdowns, made some nice catches. He's willing to do it all on special teams. He's obviously been around the game a little while, so he gets the fundamentals and the aspects of listening and learning and jumping in and creating opportunities for himself, which is exciting to see. I think he's been already he has been a positive impact on our team. Awesome. Appreciate you guys.